Welcome back. There is a live look outside from the Oregon coast. What a gorgeous view today from our Inn Spanish Head Resort Hotel camera in Lincoln City. Thanks for watching Afternoon Live. Our next guest is an award-winning sports journalist, best-selling author, and longtime advocate for women's sports. Her latest work covers a power player making a major impact on the WNBA. We welcome the author of On Her Game, Caitlin Clark, and the Revolution of Women's Sports, Christine Brennan. It's such a pleasure to meet you. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me. It's great to see you. And
I wanted to ask you, I'm such a fan of the W. You got to attend All-Star Weekend recently.
Exactly.
How great was that?
It was, Indianapolis does it right.
Yes.
And of course, Portland's going to be doing it right here very, very soon.
We're so
excited.
excited.
It was a street fair atmosphere. There was an orange carpet down a closed street. People by the thousands milling around downtown. It felt, you know what it felt like? I've been lucky to cover the Super Bowl over the years. It felt like a Super Bowl with all the banners, all the billboards, not just Caitlin Clark's face everywhere, but all the other players who made the team from other rival opposing teams, getting this billboard status and like 4 or 5 stories high, their faces. That's how you do it, and that's the power of the WNBA, especially in a city like Indianapolis.
It's so exciting. I'm so happy to hear all of that. I love the way that you set the scene of this book and the timing of Caitlin Clark's story, kind of hitting her college stride exactly 50 years since Title IX came about. A lot of things had to come together for this all to become, I mean, she's an incredible athlete, but the timing is really important too.
You're absolutely right. Title IX, the law signed by Richard Nixon, of all people, in June of 1972, that opened the floodgates for girls and women to play sports in this country. That is a law. It's also a mindset. I mean, if you, right now, those moms and dads, grandparents, aunts, uncles who are watching us, who tomorrow are going to take a daughter to a softball game or gearing up for a volleyball practice or lacrosse or whatever sport that girl is playing, like her brother, girls' sports is now expected, and mom and dad and aunts and uncles, grandparents, they're going to take the daughter or the granddaughter to a sporting event the same way, to play in an event, and her participation is just as important as the participation of her brother or whatever, the boys in the family. That is an incredible sea change in our country in those 50 so years. And you've got Caitlin Clark coming along, born in '02. That's the age that a lot of these young women, now in their early 20s, they got full blast Title IX. In America, here she is. Yeah,
they don't know a world without that boys and girls are both going to play sports on the same level, no questions asked. And Caitlin being able to look up to so many great WNBA stars when she was a kid, I mean, that's a different mindset as well.
Oh yeah, especially women's team sports.
Yeah.
If you think about it, the Olympics, we've always had superstar swimmers, figure skaters, gymnasts, and of course tennis, without a doubt, going from Billie Jean King and Chris Evert all the way to the Williams sisters, Venus and Serena. But those were individual sports.
Yeah.
This is the first time we have ever had a female team sport athlete break through, kind of like a Patrick Mahomes or a Tom Brady, where, in other words, Caitlin Clark is one of the most famous athletes in the country, but she's also one of the most famous people in the country.
Absolutely.
And when you do break into the conversation, when they're talking about you in the produce section at the grocery store, which is what's happening, then you know that it's so much bigger than sports. And this has never happened before with a team sport athlete in women's sports until now with Caitlin Clark.
I love that you got to talk to people who saw her play as a kid and coached her at AAU level, and that competitive spirit kind of reminds me of stories, like legendary stories you would hear about Michael Jordan, where he couldn't even lose a board game. Like, she was competitive about trick-or-treating.
Absolutely.
I mean, it makes sense.
Well, and she talks about it, and I do have this in the book, and all the magic of Caitlin Clark, talking about issues, but also, you can relive the entire season. In her voice, she answered 40 to 50 questions that I asked her. But yeah, she would just go house to house in West Des Moines, Iowa, and want to beat all the other kids to the door and get the biggest, best candy. And she said when she got home, before she even threw the bag on the, all the goodies on the floor to look at them, she'd go take a shower because she'd worked up such a sweat. And she said, I dominated,
she's still proud of it. That's what's so funny.
She loves it. She doesn't want to lose anything. Even practices. I was in some of the Indiana Fever practices, so I had exclusive access. I'm watching. They're all falling on the floor laughing. And she's like, no, one more shot. I get another chance. well, no, you don't. Yes, you do. And then they're jumping on her. It's like a slumber party or something. It's fun to see that side of her, as competitive as she is.
Yeah.
But people also love her for that.
And you kind of forget how young she is sometimes because she has so many eyeballs on her, and she really has handled it quite maturely and with a lot of poise.
Oh, so 22, now she's 23.
Yeah.
But when I'm working on the book, we got everything up until April, but she's 22 years old. And I say in the book, she's 22 going on 40 or 50.
Yeah.
And the maturity to handle everything, because she had everything, race, politics, you name it, thrown at her. And how she handled it, every question, she looks you in the eye, she gives you long answers. So many athletes, especially male athletes I've covered in my 40 or plus career, they're sick of it, they don't want to, they walk away. Not Caitlin Clark. She is so old school in that way, so respectful, and understands her role as a role model. When she comes to play here next year, I mean, I know that tickets will go through the roof, but the boys and the girls, and she does emphasize that, Hannah.
Yeah.
The she wants to sign autographs for boys as well as girls. This woman has just absolutely embraced a role that she didn't necessarily think was coming her way, but that she has taken on, and that is the role of being like America's role model for kids in sports.
We're just so excited about all the attention and the expansion of the league. I mean, I'm a kid who went to Portland Fire games when it was here in the early 2000s. I just couldn't be more thrilled that I'm going to be able to take my kids now next year. What's it like for you as somebody who's covered these women for so long to see this explosion of popularity?
I never thought I would see this in my lifetime. And that's one of the reasons why I approached, and Scribner and I had a conversation without a book proposal, and they said, yeah, write it, here's the advance, do it.
Now's the time.
Yeah, I mean, literally not even 13 months ago, we hadn't even thought about a book, and now, of course, it's out, and so fortunate to have it be a New York Times bestseller, and of course, in town to do a few events. But I never thought I would see it. And why is that? Because we're just such a male-dominated sports world, which I've covered mostly men's sports myself, even as I've fought hard for the coverage of women's sports, especially the Olympic sports, tennis, etc. But the idea that we're at this moment and that there are people in lines for hours in the cold in January and February outside of huge Big Ten arenas, and they're in line to watch a woman play basketball. Again, these are sentences that we could have never said before, and how terrific it is to see that, almost like it was a Springsteen concert or Taylor Swift concert. They're in line for that, but no, they're in line to watch a woman play sports.
Yeah.
And this is where we are as a nation, and the nation has embraced it and loves it. And you see these crowds everywhere for Caitlin Clark and for all the other women who deserve the attention. Never got it. That spotlight is now on them as well.
I'm excited for everyone, who's a new Caitlin Clark fan, who is discovering all these other incredible athletes because they are so good and their basketball is at such a high level, and we get the joy of experiencing it in a whole new way now.
Well, exactly. And again, the rising tide lifts all boats.
Yeah.
So people who never watched women's basketball, never care. They're guys. We know some of these guys. We like them. But they laughed about it or joked about it. Well, those are the guys wearing the 22 jerseys. And they're wearing them not just to the game, but to the grocery store and the gas station.
Exactly.
And they're proud to be seen in a woman's jersey. Again, things that never happen. It is Caitlin Clark, but it's all these other great players who deserve the attention.
Exactly.
And finally, they're getting it.
We're so happy that you're here this weekend. Thank you so much for stopping by.
My pleasure, Hannah.
Great
Thank
to
you.
chat with you. Okay, Christine has a book event tonight at 6. It's at Barnes & Noble at Clackamas Town Center. We'll have all those details for you on our website. We'll be right back with more Afternoon Live right after this.